This is in response to Billy's Talking Points memo from Monday, November, what the heck day is it? 23rd, 2015. The real story about Syrian refugees. Now, there has been a lot of xenophobia being whipped up on the far right in reference to this. It's a very good, catchy type of thing to indicate we don't want these people here, and we can't trust them. They're all Muslims, so they must all be terrorists. So we can't let any of them here. At the same time, we're accepting very, very few. And even though it seems to be something that might be in the 2000 election, if we started to process those 10,000 now, they probably wouldn't be here until 2017 or possibly even 2018. And of course, the whole thing is Obama's fault for all of this. Now, Billy's doing a lot of misdirection in here, but his basic issue of all of this is on trust. So he goes into the fact that all of these aliens, illegal aliens, have been let out of prison, and some of them were murderers, etc. But the thing is, this was a couple years ago. We don't know what circumstances they were let go. Had they been in jail prison for 20 years, 30 years, and then they were let go? Were they in for 10 years? Were they sent back to their home country? We don't know any of that type of stuff. But Billy wants to paint that broad picture that Obama is letting all of these illegal aliens out who have committed murder. And he also, in line with all of that, and of course, how many of them are Syrians? How many of them are, Muslims? Then he brings up our porous border by indicating that, we're still having all of these people of color coming in, which we can't have anymore. And also talked about the fact that, hey, oh, by the way, 5,000 kids came across the border in October of this year, 5,000, but they were all arrested. They're all being processed, whether or not they should be political refugees, whether or not, I don't know the other term for it all. And of course, we had this last year around this same time, before the elections earlier in November, and they made a huge issue out of it. But the thing was, they're coming from countries where murder, Belize, Nicaragua, what's the other country? Costa Rica. They're in El Salvador. They're having huge murder problems, and these children are being told to flee so they won't be afflicted by murder. So again, not very heartful on Billy's part or on the Republicans' part, indicating that we shouldn't be taking in these types of people. Now, again, the whole reason for this is a trust issue. Billy wants to trash Obama, indicate that everything's his fault. But then he has a cautionary tale to his Republican sisters and brothers, and talks about how they have to have clear and precise language as to how they're trying to deal with that. And of course, what he has seen and what he is saying is that this isn't necessarily as big a winning issue as it might think. Yes, there is strong sentiment, and there are a lot of people who are saying we don't want any Syrians to come in here. But what he is also saying is that the Republicans may not be playing their hand very well on this, and this could become a big issue. Of course, we saw two things that came out recently. One, I believe, was from yesterday, where the Pew Research had basically indicated that our borders are not nearly as porous as they were before, that there are less people who are coming into this country illegally from Central and South America, and that there are actually more people who are going back to Central and South America because there just aren't the jobs here. Of course, our Republican brothers and sisters, especially those running for presidents, will say we can't do anything till we secure the border. And the other thing is that we have seen that right now Hillary Clinton polls above all of her Republican rivals in head-to-head matchups in terms of security. All of them. I believe they're in that 8 to 9 point area. And so, again, this concept of xenophobia, this concept that we have to go against anyone, Syrian, children they're coming across the border, orphans, widows from Syria. Now remember, just one thing quickly. Before all this happened in Syria, of course, they had a huge drought, which caused a lot of this that was going on. But, a lot of these places that have been blown to smithereens, we don't even know if we can send people back there because the towns are so torn up. Who's going to help pay for all of that? What type of jobs are those Syrians going to have? But a lot of these people were middle class. Their kids took soccer. Their kids had dentist appointments. Now they're living in tents. They're not there. They want to have a job. They want to fulfill, to take care of their children and to do well. Obviously, they don't want to go back. And what was the other thing? That we saw that Iranians who can't get into different areas in Europe are sewing their mouths shut because they know if they go back to Iran, they will be hanged. So Billy is being a little cautionary here, saying, we need to be very clear and precise on all of this. We don't want to let anybody in, but we want to be clear and precise that we're protecting the United States by doing this. At the same time, saying, hey, this xenophobia is not going to work, and Hillary is polling above all of you, so you need to find a way to clean up your act.